Success isn't about luck. It's about the habits, mindset, and discipline of someone who has already decided to win. Imagine waking up every day already feeling like a winner, believing in yourself and your future, and acting as if success is inevitable. It might not come overnight, but that mindset, those habits, and those small daily decisions, they're the building blocks that will get you there. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to start thinking and acting like a winner, even when your results haven't caught up yet. I'll walk you through the exact steps that successful people take before they've ever seen the rewards. It's about more than just dreaming or wishing. It's about doing what's necessary now to create the future you want. If you've been struggling, feeling stuck, or wondering how to take the next step, this is for you. Let's change how you approach success together. If you're ready to stop waiting and start acting like a winner, then stay with me, because the next few minutes are going to change your perspective. Number 1, winners decide to win before they have proof. You've probably heard someone say, you have to believe it to see it. And in a way, that's exactly how winners think. But here's the thing. It's not just about believing in some vague, distant dream that may or may not come true. It's about deciding to win before you have any proof that it's even possible. It's about making that decision with confidence, commitment, and belief, even when the evidence isn't there. You see, winners don't wait for permission to start. They don't sit around waiting for the stars to align or for things to magically fall into place. Winners make a choice, and that choice is to win, regardless of the obstacles, setbacks, or delays. And it all starts with the decision. The funny thing is, most people wait for success to show up before they start acting like it's possible. They wait for things to line up just right, for all the conditions to be perfect, before they feel like they can begin. But here's the truth. Success doesn't wait for perfect conditions. Success comes to those who start, who make the decision to show up and do the work, even when things aren't perfect, even when the results aren't immediate. You might be asking, how do I do that? How do I act like a winner when I'm not one yet? How can I show up with confidence when the results are nowhere in sight? It's simple. You decide to win first. You make the decision that you're going to succeed, no matter what. You don't need to wait for proof. You don't need to wait for everything to be easy. You don't need the perfect plan, the perfect moment, or the perfect circumstances. What you need is the decision, the belief that you will succeed, and the willingness to take the necessary steps to get there. I want you to think about it for a second. How many times have you put off doing something because you didn't feel like you were ready? How many times have you thought, I'll start when I know more, or I'll start when things settle down, or I'll start when I'm in a better position? How many times have you told yourself that the perfect time to start hasn't come yet? I know I've done it, and I bet you have too. We all have. But here's the catch. The perfect time to start will never come. There's never going to be a moment where everything falls into place, and the path is completely clear. If you're waiting for that moment, you're going to be waiting forever. Here's the key. Winners don't wait. They take action before they're ready. They decide to win, and then they figure out how to make it happen. The decision to win comes first, and that decision is what gives them the strength to keep going. Even when things get tough, even when the road is uncertain, even when there are no guarantees of success, winners don't hesitate. They decide to win, and then take action. Think about any successful person you admire. They didn't sit around waiting for success to come to them. They made a decision. Sometimes it was small, sometimes it was huge, but they made the decision that they were going to succeed, no matter what. And that decision is what carried them through the hard times. That decision is what made them unstoppable. And it's the same decision you can make today. Now, I know what you're thinking. You might be saying, but I don't feel like a winner yet. I don't have the experience. I don't have the skills. I don't have the results to back it up. And I get it. It's easy to doubt yourself, especially when you don't have the evidence right in front of you. It's easy to think, I'm not there yet, so I can't act like I am. But that's exactly where you're wrong. Winners don't wait for the proof to act like winners. They make the decision first, and that's what creates the proof. When you decide to win, you start acting differently. You start thinking differently. You start showing up differently. You start investing your time, energy, and resources in a way that aligns with your goal, not with where you are right now. You start taking risks. You start challenging yourself. You start making moves toward your goal, even when it's uncomfortable. And when you do that, that's when the results start to follow. It doesn't happen overnight, but it happens because you made the decision to win. And that decision drives everything else. I want you to picture this. Imagine that you've already won. You've already reached your goal. Maybe it's a business goal, a health goal, a financial goal, or a personal development goal. Whatever it is, picture yourself having achieved it. Now ask yourself, how would someone who's already won, what kind of habits would they have? What kind of mindset would they have? What kind of decisions would they make? Start thinking like that person. Start acting like that person. Take the steps today that that person would take. Don't wait for things to be perfect. Don't wait for the results to show up. Just start. And when you make that decision to start, when you act like a winner before you're won, you'll begin to see changes. Not just in your circumstances, but in your mindset, your energy, and your ability to move forward. The key to success isn't waiting for it to happen. It's deciding that it will. And once you've made that decision, you can't look back. You can't wait for the world to give you permission. You've got to go after it. You've got to take action and keep taking action until you've created the life that you want. It's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. It's about showing up and doing the work, even when you're not sure how it's all going to turn out. Number 2, your actions must match your ambitions. If you want to win, if you want to succeed, if you want to change your life, your actions must match your ambitions. It's not enough to say you want it. It's not enough to think about it, talk about it, or dream about it. You have to do something about it. Most people say they want success, but when you look at how they spend their time, it tells a different story. They say they want to be wealthy, but they're not studying finance. They're not improving their skills. They're not taking action. They say they want to be in great shape, but they're not exercising. They're not eating right. They're not committed. They say they want to be successful, but they're wasting hours on things that don't get them closer to their goals. Your life is always moving in the direction of your actions, not your words. If you say you want success, but your actions don't show it, then success isn't coming. If you say you want to be a winner, but you're not willing to work like one, then you're fooling yourself. The truth is, your actions reveal your true ambitions. You don't have to tell people what you want. They can see it in what you do. So let me ask you, what do your actions say about your ambitions? If I followed you around for a day, would I see the habits of a future winner? Or would I see someone who is just hoping things will change? You have to be honest with yourself. If your actions aren't in alignment with the results you want, then you have to change. You have to stop making excuses. You have to stop waiting for the right time. You have to start doing the things that will get you where you want to be. And that means making sacrifices. That means cutting out the distractions. That means doing the hard things, the boring things, the things that other people aren't willing to do. That's what separates the winners from the rest. It's easy to talk about success. It's easy to get excited about the idea of winning. But the real test is what you do when nobody is watching. The real test is what you do when it's hard, when it's uncomfortable, when you don't feel like it. Because that's what determines who actually makes it and who doesn't. Most people quit when things get tough. They start out excited, but the moment they face resistance, they back off. The moment it gets uncomfortable, they start looking for a way out. That's why they never succeed, because they're only committed when it's easy. But real winners, they don't stop when it's hard. They don't make excuses. They don't wait for motivation. They just do the work. They do it whether they feel like it or not. They do it when it's boring, when it's frustrating, when nobody is cheering them on. They do it because they understand that actions, not words, create success. If you really want to win, you have to start acting like it. You have to show up every day with the discipline, the focus, the work ethic of someone who is serious about their future. You have to take responsibility for your results. You have to stop blaming circumstances. Stop blaming other people. Stop blaming the past. You have to look in the mirror and say, if I want this, I have to earn it. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to do the work for you. Success isn't going to fall into your lap. If you want it, you have to prove it. You have to prove it with your effort, with your habits, with your consistency. And let me tell you something. When your actions finally match your ambitions, everything changes. you start getting results. You start making progress. You start attracting the right people, the right opportunities. Things start moving in your favor, not because of luck, but because you earned it. But it all starts with you. It starts with how you spend your time. It starts with how you treat your goals. It starts with whether you're truly committed or just interested. So let me ask you again, do your actions match your ambitions? Or are you just talking about what you want without putting in the effort? Because if you're serious, if you really want to change your life, then you already know what to do. You don't need more motivation. You don't need another speech. You don't need another plan. You need to get to work. You need to stop waiting. You need to start proving to yourself every single day that you mean it. Because the moment you do that, the moment you stop making excuses and start backing up your words with action, that's when success starts to happen. That's when you start moving toward the life you've been dreaming about. Number 3. Eliminate behaviors that keep you small. You have to eliminate the behaviors that keep you small. You have to get rid of the things that are holding you back. Because the truth is, most people don't lose because they aren't capable. They lose because they keep doing things that stop them from reaching their full potential. Think about where you are right now. Look at your life, your habits, your daily routines. Are they moving you towards success, or are they keeping you stuck? Because whether you realize it or not, your results come from your behaviors. If your results aren't where you want them to be, it means something in your daily behavior is keeping you from growing. One of the biggest things that keeps people small is their mindset. They have big goals, but they think small. They let fear, doubt, and insecurity control them. They hesitate. They second-guess themselves. They wait for permission. They wait for someone else to tell them they're good enough. And because they think small, they act small. And when you act small, your results stay small. You have to stop thinking like a person who is stuck. You have to stop believing the lie that says you're not good enough or that you don't have what it takes. You have to stop doubting yourself before you even start. Because let me tell you something. Nobody is going to come along and hand you confidence. Nobody is going to give you permission to go after what you want. You have to decide for yourself that you belong in the room. You have to decide for yourself that you are capable of more. You have to stop letting small thinking keep you from doing big things. The next thing that keeps people small is the way they spend their time. If you're serious about winning, you have to take an honest look at how you use your time. Because every single day, you are either moving forward or staying the same. There is no in-between. And the people who stay small are the ones who waste time on things that don't matter. They spend hours scrolling through social media. They waste time gossiping. They binge watch TV for hours, then complain that they don't have time to work on their goals. They surround themselves with people who do nothing but complain, and then wonder why their mindset is full of negativity. They live on autopilot, just going through the motions, instead of being intentional about where their time goes. If you want to stop staying small, you have to stop wasting time. You have to stop letting distractions steal your future. You have to stop letting comfort keep you from making progress. Every single day is a chance to get better, but only if you take advantage of it. Another thing that keeps people small is avoiding discomfort. The moment things get hard, they back off. The moment they feel uncomfortable, they stop. They don't want to struggle. They don't want to feel uncertain. They don't want to go through the process of failing and learning. So they stay where it's safe. They do what's familiar, and because of that, they never grow. You can't win if you always take the easy way out. You can't become successful if you avoid struggle. You can't get stronger if you never push yourself. Everything you want is on the other side of discomfort. If you want more, you have to be willing to go through the process. You have to be willing to work when you don't feel like it. You have to be willing to show up even when you don't see results yet. You have to be willing to push through frustration, through failure, through all the moments where it feels like nothing is happening. Because that's what growth looks like. Most people stay small because they run from hard things. But winners understand that hard things are what make you stronger. Hard things are what separate the average from the great. Hard things are where you build the discipline, the skills, the mindset that you need to win. If you keep avoiding the work, you will keep avoiding success. Let's talk about excuses. Because excuses are one of the biggest things that keep people small. Excuses sound good in the moment. They feel justifiable. But at the end of the day, an excuse is just a way to avoid taking responsibility. An excuse is just a way to stay stuck. People say, I don't have time. But the truth is, they do have time. They're just not using it right. People say, I don't have the right connections. But the truth is, they haven't put in the work to meet the right people. People say, I'm not ready. But the truth is, nobody ever feels ready. If you wait until you feel ready, you will be waiting forever. You have to stop making excuses. You have to stop looking for reasons why you can't, and start focusing on how you can. Every excuse is keeping you small. Every excuse is keeping you from the life you want. If you're serious about success, you have to let them go. Another thing that keeps people small is their environment. The people you spend time with, the conversations you have, the things you expose your mind to, these things shape your future. If you're surrounded by people who think small, you will think small. If you're surrounded by people who complain, you will start complaining. If you're surrounded by people who don't push themselves, you will stop pushing yourself. You need to be around people who challenge you. You need to be around people who think bigger. You need to be around people who don't settle for less. Because when you're around people who expect more from themselves, you start expecting more from yourself too. If your environment is keeping you small, it's time to change it. Now let me ask you, are you still holding on to behaviors that are keeping you from growing? Are you still spending time on things that don't matter? Are you still letting excuses control you? Are you still avoiding discomfort? Are you still surrounded by people who pull you down instead of lift you up? Because if you are, then it's time to make a change. You don't have to stay small. You don't have to stay stuck. But you have to decide to do something different. You have to be willing to let go of the things that are holding you back. You have to be willing to step out of your comfort zone. You have to be willing to take full responsibility for your growth. The moment you do that, everything changes. The moment you stop wasting time, stop making excuses, stop thinking small, and start acting like the person you want to become, you will see progress. You will start moving toward the life you want. You will start becoming the kind of person who wins. But you have to make that decision for yourself, and you have to make it today. Because the longer you wait, the longer you stay the same. And if you don't change your behaviors, you will never change your results. This is your time. This is your chance to step up. This is your moment to start acting like the winner you want to be. Number 4, speak like someone who is going somewhere. When you speak, do people believe you're going somewhere? Do they hear confidence in your voice? Do they hear clarity in your words? Or do you sound uncertain, hesitant, unsure of yourself? Because let me tell you, the way you speak says a lot about where you're headed. You can tell everything about a person by the way they talk. You can hear their beliefs, their mindset, their level of confidence, just by listening to the words they use. Winners speak differently. They carry themselves with certainty, even before they have proof that they'll succeed. They don't speak like people who are hoping things will work out. They speak like people who know they are going somewhere. But most people, they don't talk like that. They speak with hesitation. They sound unsure. They doubt themselves, and you can hear it. They say things like, I'll try. Maybe someday, hopefully it works out. They leave the door open for failure before they even start. And the problem with that kind of language is that it shapes your reality. The way you talk affects the way you think. And if you speak like someone who is uncertain, you will act like someone who is uncertain. If you want to win, you have to change the way you talk. You have to speak like someone who is going somewhere. That doesn't mean you have to brag or act like you have everything figured out. It means you speak with clarity. It means you speak with belief. It means you remove weak words from your vocabulary and replace them with words that show confidence. Instead of saying, I'll try, say, I will. Instead of saying, hopefully, say, I'm making it happen. Instead of saying, I'm not sure if I can, say, I'll find a way. Because the words you use shape the way you see yourself, and the way you see yourself determines the way you show up in the world. Have you ever noticed how some people can walk into a room and instantly command attention? They don't have to shout, they don't have to demand respect, but when they speak, people listen. Do you know why? Because there is conviction in their voice, because they believe what they're saying, because they carry themselves like people who are going somewhere. And you have to learn to do the same. You have to train yourself to speak with confidence. You have to practice speaking with clarity, even when you don't have all the answers yet. You have to eliminate doubt from your language, even when you're still figuring things out. Because confidence isn't about knowing everything. It's about knowing that you can figure it out. Some of you have big dreams, but when you talk about them, you downplay them. You say, "It would be nice if it worked out," instead of "I'm working on making it happen." You say, "I hope it happens someday," instead of "I'm doing the work to make it real." You soften your words because you're afraid of what people will think. You hold back your ambition in your speech because you don't want to sound too bold. But let me tell you something. If you can't even speak about your goals with confidence, how do you expect to achieve them? You need to start speaking like someone who believes in themselves. You need to start speaking like someone who is committed to winning. That means no more weak language. No more words that give you an easy way out. No more doubting yourself in your own speech. Now let's talk about tone, because it's not just the words you use, it's how you say them. Have you ever noticed that winners don't rush their words? They don't talk like they're unsure of themselves. They don't fill their sentences with ums and maybes. They don't shrink their voice to make others comfortable. They speak clearly. They pause when they need to. They let their words land. You can feel confidence in the way someone speaks, and you can feel insecurity too. If you speak too fast, if you mumble, if you hesitate on every word, people will hear that. And if people don't believe you believe in yourself, why should they believe in you? You need to practice speaking with strength. That doesn't mean being loud. It doesn't mean forcing your voice. It means speaking with certainty. It means slowing down, making sure your words carry weight. It means training yourself to remove hesitation from your speech. Another thing, winners don't complain when they speak. They don't spend their conversations talking about problems. They talk about solutions. They don't waste words on excuses. They focus on what they can do. If all you do is complain, you're training your mind to focus on obstacles instead of opportunities. You're reinforcing a victim mindset instead of a winner's mindset. Listen to the way successful people speak. They don't waste words on negativity. They use their words to build, not to tear down. And if you want to go somewhere in life, you have to do the same. You have to be mindful of what comes out of your mouth. You have to stop speaking in a way that keeps you stuck. And let me tell you this, if you don't believe in your own words, nobody else will. If you don't sound convinced when you talk about your future, nobody else is going to believe in it either. Your words should reflect your commitment. Your words should reflect your confidence. Even when you don't have all the answers, even when you're still on the journey, you should speak like someone who knows they're going to make it. Number 5, control your emotions like a true winner. Have you ever seen a winner lose control? Have you ever watched someone who is truly at the top of their game break down over a setback? Probably not. And do you know why? Because winners know how to control their emotions. They don't let frustration take over. They don't let doubt ruin their focus. They don't let fear make their decisions. They take charge of their emotions before their emotions take charge of them. And that's exactly what you have to learn to do. Because let me tell you, life will test you. It will throw challenges your way. You will face days when things don't go as planned. You will deal with situations that make you want to quit. And in those moments, your emotions will try to take over. Fear will tell you to walk away. Anger will push you to react instead of respond. Doubt will whisper that maybe you're not good enough. And if you don't learn to control those emotions, they will control you. They will dictate your actions. They will pull you away from your goals. And before you know it, you'll be making decisions based on feelings instead of facts. But here's the truth. Feelings are temporary. They come and go like waves. They are not facts. They are not the truth. And if you allow temporary emotions to dictate your choices, you will make permanent mistakes. That's why winners don't let their emotions run wild. They feel them, but they don't let them take control. They stay focused. They stay composed. They stay in control. Think about it. Have you ever seen a professional athlete lose their temper in the middle of a game? Maybe they got frustrated, lost their cool, and made a bad decision that cost them the game. That's what happens when you let emotions take over. But the best of the best, they stay calm under pressure. They keep their head in the game because they know that one emotional reaction can ruin everything they've worked for. And that's exactly how you need to start thinking. You need to train yourself to stay in control, no matter what. That doesn't mean you ignore your emotions. It doesn't mean you pretend you don't feel anything. It means you learn how to manage them. It means you learn to process your emotions without letting them dictate your actions. It means that even on the worst days, you can still make the right decisions. Now let me tell you something important. Controlling your emotions doesn't mean suppressing them. It doesn't mean pretending you don't feel anything. It means acknowledging them without letting them drive your behavior. It means taking a step back and asking yourself, is this emotion helping me or hurting me right now? Because if it's not helping you, then you need to take charge of it before it leads you in the wrong direction. When you feel fear creeping in, instead of letting it stop you, ask yourself, is this fear protecting me from something real? Or is it just trying to keep me comfortable? Because most of the time, fear isn't protecting you, it's just keeping you from taking action. And if you listen to it, you'll stay stuck. When you feel frustrated because things aren't happening as fast as you want, instead of letting that frustration make you quit, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I adjust? Because frustration can either push you to make better choices, or it can make you give up. The choice is yours. And when you feel doubt creeping in, when that little voice in your head starts telling you that maybe you're not good enough, instead of believing it, challenge it. Ask yourself, is this doubt based on truth, or is it just insecurity? Because most of the time, doubt is just a lie we tell ourselves. And if you let it take over, it will rob you of your potential. The difference between winners and everyone else is that winners don't let emotions drive their actions. They don't make decisions when they're upset. They don't quit just because they feel frustrated. They don't allow fear to hold them back. They take control of their emotions and use them to their advantage. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but Jim, how do I control my emotions when life gets hard? How do I stay calm when everything is falling apart? And the answer is simple: practice. Just like anything else, emotional control is a skill. It's something you develop over time. And the best way to get better at it is to practice it every single day. Start small. Pay attention to how you react to little things. When someone says something that upsets you, do you react right away? Or do you take a second to think before you respond? When something doesn't go your way, do you let it ruin your entire day? Or do you shake it off and move forward? Because if you can't control your emotions in small moments, how will you control them when life throws real challenges your way? If you can't stay composed over the little things, how will you stay composed when the stakes are high? You have to train yourself to be in control. Even in the small moments, you have to teach yourself to pause before reacting. You have to practice staying calm, even when things don't go your way. And over time, you'll get better at it. Over time, you'll find that the things that used to make you upset don't bother you anymore. You'll find that you don't react as quickly. You'll find that you can stay focused, even in stressful situations. And that's when you know you're becoming a winner. Because winners don't let emotions dictate their actions. They stay in control. They stay focused. They keep moving forward no matter what. So from this day forward, I want you to commit to mastering your emotions. I want you to start paying attention to the way you react. I want you to practice staying calm, even in difficult situations. And most importantly, I want you to remember this: your emotions don't control, you control them. And when you learn how to master that, when you learn how to stay composed no matter what, there is nothing that can stop you. Because a person who is in control of their emotions is a person who is truly unstoppable. Number 6, present yourself with pride and strength. When you walk into a room, what do people see? When you speak, do people listen? When you move, when you carry yourself, when you go about your day, Do you look like someone who is going somewhere? Or do you look like someone who is still waiting for life to happen? How you present yourself to the world matters more than you think. Because before people know what you can do, before they understand who you are, before they hear about your plans and your goals, they see you. They see how you walk. They hear how you talk. They feel your presence. And whether you like it or not, they will make judgments about you based on that. And here's what winners understand. They know that how they present themselves isn't just about looking good or sounding confident. It's about showing up every day with strength, with pride, with self-respect. It's about carrying yourself like someone who already belongs at the level you're trying to reach. Because if you don't believe you belong, why would anyone else? Most people make the mistake of waiting. They say, when I'm successful, then I'll start acting like it. When I have the money, when I have the status, when I have the opportunity, then I'll carry myself differently. But that's backward thinking. That's why so many people stay stuck. Because the truth is, you have to start before you're ready. You have to walk like you belong before the world gives you permission. You have to speak with confidence before people start listening. You have to carry yourself with strength before life starts giving you what you want. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you should pretend to be something you're not. I'm not saying you should walk around acting better than other people. That's not strength. That's arrogance. What I'm talking about is self-respect. I'm talking about looking in the mirror and deciding that you are worth carrying yourself with pride. I'm talking about walking into every situation knowing that you have value, that you have something to offer, that you deserve to be in the room. Because here's what happens when you don't. When you carry yourself like someone who isn't sure, when you speak like someone who is still doubting, when you move through life like you don't quite belong, people pick up on that. They can feel it. And whether they realize it or not, they will treat you the way you present yourself. If you walk into a room with hesitation, people will hesitate to take you seriously. If you speak like you don't believe in yourself, they won't believe in you either. If you shrink yourself, they will overlook you. But the moment you change how you carry yourself, everything starts to shift. Because confidence is contagious. Strength is noticeable. People are drawn to those who present themselves with certainty. And the best part, when you start carrying yourself differently, you start feeling differently. You start believing in yourself more. And that belief turns into action. That action turns into results. And before you know it, you're no longer just acting like a winner. You are one. Let me tell you something. Your posture matters. Your tone of voice matters. Your energy matters. Your presence matters. Because people feel it. They feel if you are certain or if you are unsure. And it's not just about other people. It's about you. Because when you walk with confidence, you start to believe in yourself more. When you dress with self-respect, you start to feel more valuable. When you speak with certainty, you start to trust yourself. And this isn't about impressing others. This is about showing up for yourself in a way that tells the world, I'm here. I'm serious. I belong. You don't have to wait until you reach some imaginary level of success before you start presenting yourself with pride. You don't have to wait for permission. You don't have to wait for someone else to tell you you're good enough. So start today. Start walking into every room with your head high, with your shoulders back, with the confidence of someone who knows they are on their way. Start speaking with strength, with clarity, with the conviction of someone who believes in what they are saying. Start moving through life with the energy of someone who refuses to be overlooked. Because here's the truth. People will treat you the way you treat yourself. And if you want the world to take you seriously, you have to take yourself seriously. Winners don't wait to be noticed. They don't wait for approval. They don't wait for the world to tell them it's their time. They step up. They carry themselves like winners before they have the title. And because of that, the world responds. So from now on, I want you to think about how you show up, how you walk, how you speak, how you carry yourself. Ask yourself, if I were already the person I wanted to be, how would I move? How would I talk? How would I present myself? And then start doing it. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now, because the world is watching. And more importantly, you are watching yourself. And the way you present yourself will determine how far you go. Carry yourself like a winner today, and watch how the world starts to change around you. Number 7, develop the work ethic of champions. Have you ever looked at someone successful and wondered how they do it? How do they keep going when it gets hard? How do they stay disciplined, focused, and committed when nobody's watching? What makes them different from everyone else? I'll tell you what it is. It's work ethic. Champions don't wait for inspiration. They don't wait until they feel like it. They don't work hard only when it's easy or convenient. They show up every day, no matter what. That's what separates winners from everyone else. A lot of people have big dreams. They say they want to be great. They want success. They want to build something meaningful. But when it comes down to the work, they hesitate. They do it when it's comfortable. They do it when they feel motivated. But the moment it gets tough, they slow down. They get distracted. They start making excuses. And before they know it, they're right back where they started. Champions, they don't work that way. They understand that work ethic isn't about feelings. It's about commitment. It's about discipline. It's about making a decision that no matter how hard it gets, no matter how tired they are, no matter how many setbacks they face, they will keep going. They will show up. They will do the work. You see, most people think success is about talent. They think it's about luck. They think it's about having the right connections. And sure, those things can help. But let me tell you something. Hard work beats talent when talent refuses to work hard. I've seen it over and over again. I've seen people with all the natural ability in the world get left behind because they didn't have the work ethic to match. And I've seen people with no special skills, no advantages, no head start, rise to the top, simply because they refused to quit. So let me ask you, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want to change your life? How bad do you want to succeed? Because if you're serious, you can't afford to be inconsistent. You can't afford to take days off just because you don't feel like working. You can't afford to let distractions pull you away from your goals. A true winner doesn't wait for motivation. They create it. They know that success is built in the hours that nobody sees. It's built in the early mornings when they get up before everyone else. It's built in the late nights when they're still working while everyone else is relaxing. It's built in the moments when they're tired, when they're frustrated, when they're tempted to quit, but they don't. That's the difference. That's what makes someone unstoppable. Think about the people you admire. Think about the athletes, the entrepreneurs, the leaders who inspire you. Do you think they got there by accident? Do you think they woke up one day and suddenly became great? No, they built themselves. They trained when nobody was watching. They studied when everyone else was asleep. They worked when nobody believed in them. And you have to do the same. If you want to be a winner, you have to train like one before you ever see the results. You have to build the habits before you get the rewards. You have to develop the discipline before life gives you the opportunities. Because here's the truth. If you're not willing to work hard now, you won't be ready when your moment comes. I want you to think about something. If you had the success you wanted right now, could you handle it? If the opportunity of a lifetime showed up today, would you be prepared? If the answer is no, then you already know what you need to do. You need to put in the work today. You need to start showing up as if your success is already guaranteed. Winners don't just dream about success. They prepare for it. They train like champions before anyone even knows their name. They act like professionals before they ever get paid for what they do. And because of that, when their moment comes, they don't hesitate. They don't panic. They don't crumble under pressure. They are ready. So let me ask you again, how bad do you want it? Are you willing to wake up earlier? Are you willing to stay up later? Are you willing to give up the distractions that are holding you back? Are you willing to push through the days when you don't feel like it? Because that's what it takes. The best in the world didn't get there by accident. They got there because they worked when nobody was watching. They got there because they were willing to do what other people wouldn't. And if you want to join them, you have to do the same. Number 8, see setbacks as a part of the process. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and unexpected twists. If you've ever felt like you're not where you want to be or things aren't going the way you expected, you're not alone. We've all been there. But here's something that winners understand that many people miss. Setbacks are not the end. In fact, they're just part of the journey. The way you look at setbacks, the way you handle them, determines whether you stay stuck or keep moving forward. See, a lot of people, when they face failure or a setback, they take it as a sign that they're not cut out for success. They let it stop them. They let the disappointment weigh them down. They get discouraged and think, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe this is just too hard for me. And I get it. Failure doesn't feel good. It's uncomfortable. It's painful. It's frustrating. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't the setbacks themselves. It's how they respond to those setbacks. If you can change your mindset around setbacks, if you can see them as a necessary part of the process, then you're setting yourself up for long-term success. Winners know that every setback is just an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to get better. And here's the thing, you can't win without learning how to deal with setbacks. You can't avoid them, you can't escape them, but you can choose how you respond. Now I know it's not easy. When things don't go as planned, it's easy to get frustrated. It's easy to want to quit. It's easy to think that maybe you should just throw in the towel and walk away. But here's what I want you to understand. Setbacks don't define you. They don't determine your future. They're just part of the process. What defines you is how you pick yourself back up. What defines you is whether or not you keep going. Let me give you an example. Think about some of the most successful people in history, the ones who have made a massive impact, who have changed the world. Do you think they just woke up one day, did everything right, and everything fell into place? Of course not. They failed over and over again. They faced obstacles, faced rejection, faced hardships that would have made most people quit. But what made them different was their ability to keep going in the face of those setbacks. They didn't give up. They didn't let the setbacks define them. They learned from them, adjusted, and kept moving forward. And you can do the same. The key is to change your perspective. Instead of seeing setbacks as something negative, see them as a lesson. See them as a chance to grow. When you face a challenge, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to improve? Every time you face a setback and choose to push forward, you're building resilience. You're becoming stronger. You're developing the mental toughness that's necessary for success. One of the most powerful things you can do is embrace the idea that setbacks are not a sign of failure. They're a sign of progress. They mean you're trying. They mean you're pushing your limits. They mean you're on the path towards something greater. Without setbacks, there is no growth. Without challenges, there's no improvement. Think about it this way. If everything was easy, if everything went according to plan, you wouldn't learn anything. You wouldn't develop the skills you need to handle the big challenges that will come later on. You wouldn't build the grit and perseverance that will carry you through the hard times. Setbacks teach you the lessons you need to succeed in the long run. They prepare you for the bigger battles. When you're faced with a setback, don't see it as a roadblock. See it as a stepping stone. It's a moment where you can either decide to give up or you can decide to push through and become better. It's a test of your commitment, a test of your character, a test of whether you're willing to keep going when things get tough. Now I want you to ask yourself, how do you respond when things don't go your way? Do you let disappointment stop you? Do you let the frustration hold you back? Or do you use it as fuel to keep going? The winners are the ones who use their setbacks as motivation. They don't let failure break them. They let it drive them to be better, to do better, to keep pushing forward. And let's be real for a moment. Setbacks will happen. That's just the reality of life. You're going to face challenges. You're going to face rejection. You're going to face obstacles that feel like they're too big to overcome. But here's the thing. Every successful person has faced the same struggles. They've just learned how to overcome them. They've learned how to see failure as part of the process, not the end of the road. So next time you face a setback, instead of feeling defeated, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this experience? And then get back to work. Keep going. Because success is not about avoiding setbacks. It's about how you respond to them. The best part about setbacks is that they don't last forever. They are temporary. What you learn from them, though, that sticks with you. And every time you overcome a setback, you're building the mental toughness, the resilience, and the strength that will carry you through future challenges. Number 9, demand excellence from yourself. Every day. Every day is an opportunity to demand more from yourself. You don't need anyone else to tell you what you're capable of. If you're honest with yourself, you already know. The question is, are you willing to show up and put in the work? Are you willing to demand excellence from yourself? even when no one is watching. Excellence doesn't happen by accident. It's not something that just falls into your lap. It's something you choose. It's a decision you make every single day. You don't wait for motivation to strike. You create it. You don't wait for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment is now. The key to success in anything you do is consistency. But it's also about holding yourself to a higher standard. Here's the truth. Most people are content with doing just enough to get by. They settle for mediocrity. They do what's required, but never push past that. They make excuses, find shortcuts, and hope that their efforts will somehow lead to success without ever going above and beyond. But that's not how it works. Success isn't about doing what's expected of you. It's about doing more. It's about giving everything you've got, even when you don't feel like it, even when you'd rather do something else. Demanding excellence from yourself means that you're committed to becoming the best version of yourself. It's about striving for improvement every day, no matter how small those steps might seem. It's about showing up with intention, giving your best effort, and refusing to settle for anything less than your absolute best. When you hold yourself to a higher standard, everything around you changes. Your work improves. Your relationships improve. Your confidence improves. And when you do the work with excellence, when you make that your habit, the world starts to notice. People start to see you as someone who doesn't just get by. They see you as someone who delivers, someone who takes pride in their craft. No matter what it is, that's the kind of person people want to be around. That's the kind of person who gets opportunities that others miss. But here's where a lot of people get it wrong. They think demanding excellence from themselves means being perfect. That's not what it means at all. Excellence isn't about being flawless. It's about showing up every day, giving your best, and being committed to continuous improvement. It's about being honest with yourself, about where you are and where you need to go. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fall short sometimes. That's okay. What matters is that you get back up, learn from it, and keep moving forward. Excellence is about showing resilience in the face of failure, not about never failing. So how do you demand excellence from yourself? It starts with your mindset. You have to stop thinking of your efforts as just something you do to get by. You have to start thinking of them as something that reflects who you are. If you take pride in your work, it will show. If you put effort into everything you do, no matter how small or insignificant it seems, you'll start to see results. Because when you give your best, you get the best in return. But demanding excellence doesn't just mean doing your work well. It means being disciplined in everything you do. It's about showing up on time, keeping your promises, and staying focused, even when it's tempting to slack off. It's about not letting distractions get in the way of what's important. And it's about being accountable to yourself. When you set a goal, when you make a commitment, you have to follow through. It's about making sure that everything you do aligns with the person you want to become. You can't just talk about wanting to be great. You have to act on it every single day. And when you start demanding excellence from yourself, you'll notice something amazing happens. It becomes easier. The more you hold yourself to a higher standard, the more natural it feels. The more you push yourself to improve, the more motivated you'll become to keep doing it. It's a snowball effect. And before you know it, your whole life changes. But let's be real for a moment. It's not always going to be easy. There will be days when you don't feel like it. There will be times when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when things aren't going your way. And that's when you need to remind yourself that this is where the real growth happens. When it gets tough, when you're feeling worn out, when it feels like giving up would be so much easier. That's when you dig deep and push through. That's when you show the world what you're really made of. You see, the best of the best aren't always the most talented. They're not always the smartest or the most gifted. What sets them apart is their commitment to excellence, their willingness to work harder than anyone else, their refusal to accept anything less than their best. They're the ones who show up, day in and day out, who do the work even when it doesn't feel glamorous. They're the ones who keep going when others quit, and they get the results to prove it. Now, this doesn't mean you have to be perfect all the time. It doesn't mean you have to work yourself to the point of burnout. But it does mean that you can't settle for less than your best. It means you're not going to let laziness, excuses, or fear of failure stand in your way. When you demand excellence from yourself, you start to see your own potential in a whole new light. You realize that you're capable of so much more than you ever thought. and you start showing up every day with the intention of living up to that potential. Demanding excellence from yourself means becoming the kind of person who doesn't just talk about goals, but works toward them every single day. It means being the kind of person who doesn't just dream about success, but takes the necessary steps to make it happen. It means being the kind of person who takes pride in their work, no matter how big or small the task may be. The truth is, nobody else can hold you to a higher standard. That's your job. Nobody else can force you to push through when it gets tough. That's your responsibility. The world doesn't owe you success. It's something you earn through consistent effort and a commitment to doing things with excellence. And when you make that decision, when you make the commitment to demand excellence from yourself, you're not just changing your work, you're changing your life. Number 10, stay patient and keep moving forward. You know, one of the hardest things in life is patience. It's not the hard work, not the effort, not even the setbacks that really trip people up. It's the waiting. It's the part where you've put in all this work, all this energy, and it feels like it's taking forever to see the results. You've been grinding, you've been doing everything you're supposed to do, but sometimes it doesn't seem like anything is changing. You're not seeing the results you want, and you're starting to wonder if it's even worth it. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? That moment when you feel like you've been running hard, but the finish line is nowhere in sight. But here's the thing, that moment, that's when the real test begins. Anyone can work hard when things are going well. Anyone can push through when the results are right there in front of them. But it's when you don't see immediate returns that your true strength is built. You see, success isn't just about what you do when things are good. It's about how you keep moving forward, even when you don't see the evidence of your hard work right away. It's about trusting the process, knowing that the effort you're putting in is not wasted, even if it feels like it sometimes. There's this saying that goes, good things come to those who wait, but the reality is good things come to those who keep working while they're waiting. Patience doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing. It's not about just crossing your fingers and hoping things fall into place. Patience is about continuing to show up, even when the results aren't coming as fast as you'd like. It's about doing the work, day after day, knowing that each step is getting you closer to your goal, even if you can't see it yet. And trust me, I know how frustrating that can be. It's easy to get discouraged when you're putting in the effort and not seeing immediate results. It's easy to wonder if you're doing something wrong or if you're wasting your time. But the truth is, patience is a muscle you have to build, just like anything else. It takes practice, it takes discipline, and most importantly, it takes faith. Faith in yourself, faith in your process, and faith that everything you're doing will pay off in the end. Now, I'm not saying it's always going to be easy. There will be days when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you're tempted to throw in the towel and walk away. And on those days, you have to remind yourself why you started in the first place. You have to remember that nothing worth having comes easily. The things that truly matter in life, the things that will make the biggest difference, require time. They require patience. They require persistence. And they require you to keep going, even when it feels like you're not getting anywhere. One of the most important things I've learned in my life is that nothing good happens overnight. Success is the result of consistent, patient effort over time. It's about making small improvements every day, even if those improvements seem insignificant at the time. When you look back, though, you'll see just how far you've come. And that's when you realize that all those little steps you took, all that patience you practiced, it was all worth it. So what does it mean to stay patient and keep moving forward? It means trusting the process, even when it's hard. It means knowing that the road to success is not a straight line. There will be detours, there will be setbacks, and there will be days when you feel like giving up. But if you keep showing up, even when it's tough, you'll eventually get to where you want to be. It's like planting a seed. When you plant a seed in the ground, you don't expect it to sprout overnight. You water it, you nurture it, you give it sunlight, and you wait. You trust that with the right care, it will grow. Success works the same way. You plant your efforts, and you give them the time and attention they need to grow into something amazing. But just like a seed, success doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, it takes care, and it takes patience. But here's the thing about patience. It doesn't mean you're just sitting around waiting for something to happen. Patience isn't passive. It's active. It's about doing what needs to be done every day, even when the results aren't visible yet. It's about taking the small steps, day in and day out, and trusting that those steps are leading you somewhere great. Patience is about persistence. It's about resilience, and it's about the willingness to keep going, even when things aren't happening as quickly as you'd like. If you can learn to stay patient and keep moving forward, you will see the results of your efforts. They might not come tomorrow, or the next day, or even next week, but they will come. And when they do, you'll look back and realize that all those moments when you wanted to quit, all those times when you felt like nothing was happening, they were the moments that set the foundation for your success. I know it's hard to be patient. It's hard to wait for something when you're so eager to see the results. But let me tell you something. Everything worth having takes time. Every successful person you admire, every person who's achieved something great, they all had to practice patience. They all had to trust the process, even when it wasn't easy. And that's what you have to do too. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't always talent, luck, or ability. It's the willingness to keep going when things get tough. It's the ability to stay patient, keep moving forward, and keep putting in the effort, even when the finish line seems far off. So if you're feeling discouraged, if you're wondering if all this effort is worth it, remember this: it is. Every step you take, every day you keep going, it's one step closer to your goal. Don't give up now. Keep going. Stay patient. The best things in life take time, and you're on the right path. Just keep moving forward, and you'll get there.